Okay, good Wednesday, sixth graders. Some quick notes here. Please watch for our Google Meet time change tomorrow. They're having a little Christmas luncheon for the teachers, and the time is right smack in the middle when so I might change the time there a little bit. So I assigned you to answer these questions to help you review. I'm going to quickly go over these answers, and then we're going to fill out this paper right here just to kind of summarize all of the rock information that we learned. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see how well I can do. Look, I don't have an answer key. Okay, number one, streak is the color of a mineral's powder. Remember, I might go a little bit fast since we have a lot of stuff to do. You can feel free to pause and or come back to the video as you need to. During crystallization, blanks are arranged to form a material with a crystal structure. So I'm going to think, let's see, I guess without looking back, I would think that was minerals. But if I was stuck, and if I'm not sure, which I'm not, so I'm going to go back and look that this is from lesson 1 rather than go through the entire book. I'm going to go look here, mineral, organic, here's a crystal structure, the particles of a mineral. I kind of thought the answer was mineral. It's the particles of a mineral, and it doesn't say particles are arranged to form a material. So I'm going to look to see if do they think they want particles or do they want minerals? The atoms that make up a mineral line up in a regular pattern. That sounds are arranged to form a material with a reporting material, the repeating pattern of a mineral's atoms. You know what? I'm going to change my answer to atoms. Fill in the table to compare the characteristics of a mineral and a material that is not a mineral. So a brick is a solid. So that's a check there. A brick cannot form by inorganic processes. A brick does not have a chemical composition, nor does it have crystal structure. So I think it's solid, it's crystal, it's definite. So you have to have all of those checked off, meaning a check meaning yes, and maybe an X meaning no. A rock that forms, this is lesson 2 now. A rock that forms from many small fragments of other rocks is definitely considered, let's see, igneous, anamorphic, yeah, that's sedimentary. The 20 or so minerals that make most, I remember highlighting this, that's real tough, or they're called mineral forming rocks. Once again, mineral forming, rock forming. Rock forming minerals. All right, Miss Facundas. Somebody had caffeine today. Describe the texture of this rock. We spent a lot of time on what we do with the word texture. Texture, I would say this rock is coarse. Has a coarse texture. Okay, now we go up to lesson 3, so I would know where to go if I was not familiar with the answer. What kind of igneous rock usually contains large crystals? Let's think about the activity that we did in class about can I build a tower, and the person that had more time. So which one of these means more time? And I think that would be if you were intrusive, because you would stay warm, you would cool down. It would take you a long time to cool down. An igneous rock's color is primarily determined by its minerals. You might write mineral content. What conditions lead to the formation of large crystals in an igneous rock? And just quite the condition would be it needs lots of time to cool down. So it has time to form those crystals. Now, a lot of sixth graders might skip this one. Oh, look at how long it is. But I'm going to try to show you how easy answering one of these kind of questions might be. I'm going to kind of zoom in on it, and it says write about it. Let's see, it asks me to describe the texture of granite. That's one thing. Also describe granite's mineral composition and explain granite's origin. There's only 3 things there. We've done a lot of work with granite. So I could actually do this in 1 sentence if I started. I could also do 3 bullets to make sure that I covered it, but I'm going to start with where something starts. Let's see, granite is an igneous rock that forms. Now, if you weren't sure, you could say magma or lava, but I know that granite is the most common intrusive rock because it's real coarse. So I'm going to say rock that forms from slow cooling. Remember, it's magma when it's underground and lava. Boom. Okay, describe mineral composition. Now, if you can remember, there's actually a great picture, and we're going to be in lesson 3, igneous rock, and we can look for it here, but the rock's mineral composition, there we go. Right here, it was a great picture of granite, and it had all of these. Mica quartz, hornblende, and feldspar. And it contains mica, hornblende, quartz, and feldspar, I think. And then the texture. It has a coarse texture. Now, I wonder if you timed me how long that would be. There's boom, boom, boom. I have all 3 things. Okay, so we dealt with minerals, minerals becoming rocks. The first type of rock was igneous. The second type of rock was sedimentary. You find a deposit of organic limestone. In what type of setting did it probably form? Organic. What does organic mean? What does the organic limestone mean? Organic limestone, organic means alive. Which 3 of these things might be alive? Doesn't seem like volcano. It doesn't seem like sand dunes. Swamp, I would see lots of plants, and the ocean seems like I would find animals and plants as well. So I would have, if I didn't know A and C, I probably would go back. Limestone and lime, I think we're going to pick ocean here. Shale is a clastic rock, meaning that it forms when sediment is merely squeezed or cemented together. A certain rock contains large, jagged pieces of other rocks, cemented by fine particles. What type of rock is this? Explain. And breccia, if you remember that, has jagged pieces, I guess. Okay, you'll find a rock with fossils in it. Is this rock more likely to be a sedimentary rock than an igneous rock? Explain. Now, you don't really, sorry, I should have told you you didn't have to write that out, but if you did, it's not going to hurt you. But I would say it was sedimentary rock because igneous rock would melt anything that was in it and you wouldn't see any kind of fossil formation. Metamorphic rock, a metamorphic rock in which the grains line up in layers, and I'm thinking layers, I'm thinking this almost sounds like folds, so I'm going to go with that one. 2 types of foliated rock are, jeepers, I think I know gneiss is one. Let's look and see. I would go back to lesson 5 and just to see. We have metamorphic rocks, and here's foliated. Remember, we had that gneiss that's foliated, but the non-foliated was quartzite. I would have to go back and look here. Metamorphic rocks. Slate is also a very common foliated rock, right? So we could write slate. Boy, that wasn't hard. Why do you think slate might be denser than shale? Maybe it was, I want to guess that it was pressured or pressurized. It was pressured more and baked more. Why do crystals and gneiss line up in bands? I think from the pressure. I'm going to say in melting too. I think when they melt it, when the stuff inside the rock melts and then you push it down. Okay, and then the final lesson that we were on was the rock cycle. And if you had completed your rock story and the review and the reading, you would be able to answer these quite easily. If you didn't, and they become a little bit more difficult. The process by which metamorphic rock changes to igneous rock begins with, okay, so let's see, when you think metamorphic, you're probably thinking heat and pressure, but that's not there. So maybe I'm going to go with this other rock, igneous rock. I wonder what would happen in order for igneous rock to happen, and I would go with melting. Blank can turn igneous rock into sediment. How do we break that up? And that is weathering. I would have accepted just the word weathering, but if you wrote weathering and erosion, I would be happy with that. Use the diagram to describe two ways that a metamorphic rock can change into sedimentary rock. Now, this is basically your rock story. Most of you are starting with sedimentary rock, but you could have started with metamorphic too if you were, Marley metamorphic. Metamorphic rock, can change, well, let's just say can be weathered and eroded into sediment and sedimentary rock. Okay, that's one way, and I need two ways. So metamorphic rock can also be melted. Into igneous. And then if you wanted to, a third one that another one that you could have is, you don't have to have all three, is metamorphic rock can also change into other rock. But, oh, wait a second. You see, I didn't read the directions. Use the diagram. Two can change into two ways, sedimentary rock. Okay. Well, I'm just going to finish this one. Metamorphic rock can change into, I'm going to pause here just for a second because I don't know the answer to a second way. I don't remember telling you, so let me go back and look.